Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be breaking down the first episode of Season 5, The Crawl for Stranger Things. So let's get this started. So the show first kicks off as we expected, and that's with the first 5 minutes showing us how Will survived and his experience in the Upside Down. So this obviously kicks off his plan because this is what he needed, and Will was the first of many children that's going to be taken in the show. So last time we saw the group, they were at Harper's cabin, but now we get a time skip around a year and 9 months as season 4 ended at March 29th, 1986, and we fast forward to November 3rd, 1987. Now, they obviously aged up Holly Wheeler and some of the other crew because they had to, and they replaced her with a more suitable, more older actor. Obviously, she's still very young, but I think this is best because it fits the narrative and we needed an actor that can actually talk. Now, Holly has seen some paranormal stuff as a child. Now, this is also emphasized as she sees a mysterious figure known as Mr.whatsit. Now, this is also Henry, aka Vecna, that's coming for her just like how he came for Will. Now, the Byers have been living in the Wheelers' house after the events that caused a massive rift in Hawkins, and they had to put like steel plates on all the cracks that Vecna made. Now, Holly is seen reading A Wrinkle in Time. Now, this is crazy because, you know, the Duffer Brothers wouldn't just throw that in there for just no reason. Now, because of the portal and everything that Vecna did, Hawkins has been put into a government shutdown, which means that not many people can leave. Everyone that comes in and out is monitored by the government. And Robin and Steve have taken over the radio waves, while over in Hawkins High School, Dustin is fighting 2 battles as he gets bullied by the jocks for wearing the Hellfire shirts, as the town continues to believe that Eddie was the cause of the deaths of those 3 other students. But while Dustin is over there fighting 2 battles, Eleven is preparing for the final battle as she pushes herself to train with Hopper. But let me tell you, at least in 1 year's time, she has gotten her speech down. She's getting way better, the way she's talking. So she's not just training in terms of just fighting. She's also, you know, I feel like she's been studying up. You know what I mean? So we see our favorite undercover guy, Murray, as a delivery man bearing gifts as he secretly becomes a goods smuggler under the fake name of Austin Milberg. No, at first I kind of wondered if his name was meant for anything, or maybe he just was named after a director for the show, but nope, it's just a perfectly forgettable name, which is most likely what he wants. He supports the team by supplying them with all the hard to get stuff, such as ammo, grenades, weapons in general, a lot more hard to get items, as well as intel from the government in order to help the team pinpoint when the next burn or crawl will happen. Now, the only way a crawl is allowed is when the government begins the burn. The burn is just like season 2 when Hawkins' lab would burn the portal to the Upside Down to prevent it from spreading, but the government uses it to clear a path to get into the Upside Down. Now, the team figured out that there's a small window for Hop to get into the Upside Down when the burn is active, and the only way the team can do this is by utilizing the tunnels created by the Demodogs back in season 2, as the tunnels are all over Hawkins, as well as right under the area where the portal is conveniently located, right near a Radio Shack of all things. I remember going to Radio Shack all the time for all the cool like internet stuff and just tech stuff in general, but too bad they went under, right? I'm not a D&D guy, I've never played D&D, but in short, the crawl
He said it!
Is when the party enters a dungeon slowly and cautiously through mazes of rooms, hallways, and levels, often having to map the area as they go, which is exactly what the team does to get into the government facility through the tunnels. Now we continue to get more screen time for Holly as the show is leaning on something happening to her. And if you guys don't notice, in parts of her room she has rainbows. And where does rainbows equate to this stuff? Of course, the rainbow room, because that is where Henry was also as well. And this goes us a little subtle nod that she is going to be one of the next victims. Now she is continuously visited by Henry, and as well as still continuing to go under the name of Mr.whatsit, but eventually we find out that she has figured out his name was Henry because he's obviously told her. But man, they are laying thick on this with the Wrinkle in Time, not before we get a reveal that the government has boots in the Upside Down doing an experiment, which later we find out involves 8 and God knows what else, as they double down on trying to find 11. So we get this weird tentacle monster, some weird egg sacs being examined. Now by this time, Harper has already been through 37 crawls.
He said it!
All recon, as they have yet to find Vecna, with Harper refusing to take 11. As now, since these are all recon missions, Harper always refuses to take 11 with him because they have yet to find Vecna in any of these 37 crawls, or even get a glimpse of where he's at to find this SOB, as we see that Harper has contingency plans with bombs ready that he didn't want anybody else to know. As the show goes on, we get Holly and Mike getting this nice little heart-to-heart moment as she gets in trouble for talking to Mr.whatsit, as again, through everybody else's eyes, they can't see him, but she can. Obviously, Holly's parents assume that this is just her imagination going, wow, it's just an imaginary friend. But during the time, Mike hands her her character token, known as Holly the Heroic, as a charm to keep her safe and to let her know if she ever feels a moment of weakness and if she's ever feels scared that she could call on her powers as Holly the Heroic. So it's kind of funny that Will's name is Will the Wise, but Mike's name is like Mike the Great. It would be cooler to call himself, you know, like Mike the Mighty or maybe even Mike the Majestic, just to keep like those same name things like Will the Wise, Holly the Heroic, Mike the Majestic, or Mike the, you know, Mighty, something crazy like that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you would name Mike. Now, earlier in the episode, Will spirals into visions as he's able to tap into the mind flare just like Vecna is, and every single time Will does tap into the mind flare, he can see through Vecna's eyes as well as the freaking eyes of the children that Vecna is looking or chasing or getting ready to abduct. Fast forward a little bit, Will and Lucas decide to go to the hospital to see Max as Will decides it's time to go grab something to drink, and eventually he sees Robin and her girlfriend, you know, in the room as they are making out, you know, doing whatever they do. At first I thought this was Will, you know, getting aroused, but realized that this is more of a subtle like foreshadowing on Will's sexuality and so on. But somewhere on the other side of town, Dustin gets himself into trouble with the jocks as he has already been having a tough time with them because he continues to poke the bear because he doesn't want the world to forget about Eddie, as well as the Hellfire Club because he continues to wear the shirt. Now, previously, he left a snake in the locker of one of the guys, I forgot their names, but again, this is one of those things where Mike, Lucas, and Will wanted to avoid. But like I said, Dustin did poke the bear and he got ambushed at Eddie's grave, and that's all she wrote. You know, the jocks went to work, but not without Dustin getting a couple licks in at the cost of almost screwing up the crawl.
He said it! He said it!
Now, Dustin, with the help of Will, are technically like the engineers of the team because they help make the tracking system that they use to help Harper through the Upside Down as they help him try to navigate through everything and get back. Since Dustin is taking a nice little nap at Eddie's grave, that left a job for tracking up to both Jonathan and Steve to work together to prevent losing track of Harper in the Upside Down. Now, after successfully helping Harper sneak into the convoy, it's attacked by a Demogorgon, tearing every soldier apart. This also allows Will to tap into the Mind Flare again for the first time, seeing everything in real time as the Demogorgon rips through everybody. Now, being able to see real time what the Demogorgon is doing, but because this was such an intense moment, it blows all the fuses on the radio station as the Demogorgon, but we see that when Will is tapped into the Demogorgon, that he can sense, feel, and understand what the Demogorgon's thinking, and he knows that he's going to the wheelhouse, as well as we can see it as it drives right straight into the Upside Down. But I am here to let you guys know that he's definitely not there to check on their car's extended warranty because Vecna wants Holly and he sent his pet to go get her. Now, the Duffer Brothers did say that the action would start immediately and they didn't disappoint. Well, if we think about it, Holly is last seen reading A Wrinkle in Time, right? Now, I have never read the book, so in a short, brief, light spoiler summary, the story follows Meg Murray, a smart but insecure middle schooler whose father, a scientist, has mysteriously disappeared one story night. Meg meets these strange beings, Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Witch, who reveals that her father has been trapped by a powerful cosmic evil. Which is funny because it's technically the way around. It's the other way around where Mr. Whatsit is the person who kidnaps Holly, who would technically not be the scientist, but she still gets trapped into this like otherworldly realm. And back to what I was talking about. Now, Meg, her younger brother, Charles Wallace, and her friend Calvin travel across the space and time using a method called the Tesseract and Wrinkle in Time to rescue him. Now, the crazy part is she gets taken by the Demogorgon, who could technically be the Tesseract because he's the one that creates the wrinkle in time by ripping through the space-time itself. Either way. Now, the journey takes them to a bizarre planet ruled by a dark force known as It, which the dark force will be the Mind Flare this time. Now, the dark force will be represented as the Mind Flare, aka It. Now, this is a subtle foreshadowing as one of the episodes is called The Vanishing Of, and you guessed it's the vanishing of Holly Wheeler, but again, why Holly? But before being kidnapped, Holly's room is filled with a lot of things, such as rainbows, all these other colors that we saw in the previous seasons of Stranger Things, like the Rainbow Room. Holly is special. Vecna knows this, but on top of that, she's also a Wheeler, and so it's kind of a win-win for Vecna, as he did promise to take everything from Mike and Nancy. The real question is what he's prepping to do with these children after he's done abducting them. Those are all answered in episode 4, and we'll cover that when I get to episode 4. So stay tuned, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video and you guys want to see more just like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.